What's up, Tweener heads? Welcome back to another Tweener tennis video today here on the channel. Today we have another draw preview for you guys today. Today we have the Madrid Open, and today we have a very nice draw for you guys to look at and just to see the matchups that we can have in round 2 and maybe earlier is something quite spectacular if you ask me, because I'm looking at it right now and I think almost every first round is worth watching. I'm not even going to lie. But we do have a lot of people missing, I must say that. As of right now, before the tournament has even started, we have Djokovic, Federer, Goffin, Monfils, Raonic, Wawrinka, Coric, Sonego, Cilic, and Gasquet all have withdrew from Madrid. And speaking of latest entries and exits, in terms of wildcards, they all went to Spanish players. I'm really not surprised by that because it is in Madrid. We got Verdasco had to get a wild card. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Jamie Munar. He's been playing really well recently on the tour. Pedro Martinez and Carlos Alcaraz. Alcaraz is in the top half of the draw, and this is a perfect segue into the draw because Carlos Alcaraz might play Rafa Nadal in the second round of this tournament. Let's be real. He's been doing unbelievable stuff. And for him to train at the Nadal Academy and to possibly face him next round as well, oh, we're going to have something special there. But let's go through the first round draws, shall we? In terms of first round matchups, we have Nadal with a bye. Then we got Manarino versus Alcaraz, the second round matchup that we're all literally dreaming of. We're all dreaming about this. Let's be honest here. Because who doesn't want to see Carlos Alcaraz, possibly in the next Rafa, play Rafa in the next round? Who doesn't want to see that? That's going to be an unbelievable match if we can get that. But he's playing Manarino in the first round. Then we got qualifier versus Struff. Guido Pella versus Yonex Sinner. I actually think Pella could beat Sinner if he tried. And I hate to say that because I love Sinner. I love his game. I love what he's doing. The next gen is definitely here with the Italians. A lot of good Italian players right now. But Sinner versus Pella, two guys that know the clay surface all too well. So it's going to be interesting to see them play. That's a first matchup to watch. Hurkacz versus John Millman. I think that's just a battle of grinders, to be honest, because they're both fighters in their own way. Hurkacz winning his first Miami Open and first Masters 1000s title. That's unreal, and so glad that he was able to win that. Jeremy Chardy versus Daniel Evans. Daniel Evans had an unreal run at Monte Carlo, so seeing him play against a veteran like Jeremy Chardy should be interesting to see because Chardy does have the experience on the clay, but Evans is kind of on a hot streak right now, even though he's only had, 5 career wins on the clay, and he had one of the best runs by a British player on the clay surface in Monaco. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does here at the tournament. Then we have Khachanov versus Nishikori. Nishikori has been making somewhat of a comeback since he's come back to the tour. So seeing him play someone like Khachanov, and Khachanov hasn't really made that much noise this year, to be honest with you guys. So that's going to be a fun one to watch. Zverev gets a bye, plays the winner of that match. Team bye versus qualifier. Who really cares? Team's coming back after not really playing for a while, so he might be a little bit rusty, but he is technically the Prince of Clay. But we'll see how that goes. Jamie Munar versus Alex de Minaur, another top young talents to see in that draw. I actually really like that matchup. Lloyd Harris versus Grigor Dimitrov. Lloyd Harris had a really hot start in 2021. But I want to see how he does against Dimitrov on clay because that's just something that, honestly, I don't think this is the best surface for either of them, personally, going off of my knowledge. So I don't know how that match is going to turn out. Harris actually might win that match. Then we have Batista Agut, who plays a qualifier in the first round, but then if he wins, he plays the winner of Isner and Kecmanovic. Kecmanovic could actually win against Isner on this surface because it neutralizes Isner's big serve. And Isner, this is like endurance if you talk about clay. A lot of people, when they talk about clay, it's all about the physicality. And Isner, to be honest, even though he had the longest tennis match of all time, on clay, if he doesn't get serves in and if he doesn't have that bomb of a serve, I don't think he's going to do well on this surface and at this tournament. I think he's going to go out very quickly. If not this round, then the next. Then we have Pedro Martinez, one of the wild cards awarded from the Madrid Open, plays young gun Tommy Paul, and the winner of that plays Andrei Rublev, one of the best players this year. One of the best. If we look at the other half of the draw, we got Diego Schwartzman with a bye, who is going to be playing the winner of Ugo Humbert versus Aslan Karatsev, one of the most talked about players on the tour right now, Aslan Karatsev, playing a young Frenchman, actually very good on clay, very good, promising young star, will be playing Schwartzman in the next round. I actually think that's going to be a really fun half to watch, because then we have Fucsovics versus Bublik. That, I would say, is probably one of the most entertaining matches to watch. I think Fucsovics is very underrated, and Bublik himself is very entertaining. So seeing that matchup and then playing Lajovic versus Shapovalov, the winner of that, if Shapovalov wins that match and then plays one of them, I'm saying that could be possibly the best match of the tournament, just because of how that can go, just because of entertainment value. Next, we have Felix Auger-Aliassime versus Casper Ruud. That's actually a very good matchup just because of the young talent that they both offer. Felix Auger-Aliassime, for those of you who don't know, is currently being coached by Tony Nadal. Yes, Rafa's uncle that took him to stardom. So I want to see how Felix is going to do on clay, and he should be bolstered on clay a lot more now that Uncle Tony's in his corner. But who knows at this point if Uncle Tony can turn something around in Felix. That would be really cool to see him do that. Then you have Cam Norrie versus Filip Krajinovic, who is going to be playing the winner of Felix and Casper. So that's going to be a fun one as well. Basilashvili, we don't like to talk about him for certain off-court reasons, versus Benoit Paire. This is like a battle of no one cares to see who wins. Because right now, if you follow tennis Twitter, if you're not following me, go follow me on Twitter. A lot of the tennis Twitter hates both of these people. One, because Benoit Paire hasn't been trying this entire year, yet he's made over $300,000. I think he's only got like 3 tour wins right now. And Basilashvili, you guys can look it up. I'm not even going to give him the time of day. And the winner of that match plays Stefanos Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas just won Monaco. It was a special win for Stefanos just because his mom won the junior event there a while ago, so it was really nice to see that comparison between the two. Then we got Berrettini, who has a bye, and then Fognini versus a qualifier. We could actually have an Italian matchup in that second round. I would like to see Fognini play Berrettini just because to see the veteran versus the new guy on tour. I wouldn't say Berrettini is the new guy, but I would say Berrettini is that in that young group of Musetti, Sinner, him, Sonego, a lot of these guys from Italy that are on the come up very quickly. So seeing Fognini, one of the biggest veterans and best veterans on tour, play someone like Berrettini, that's going to be a really fun one to watch. Taylor Fritz versus Ramos Vinolas. Fritz is actually good on clay. I think clay is Fritz's best surface. He actually could be playing Carreño Busta if Carreño Busta can play. If Carreño Busta can win the against the qualifier. If Carreño Busta can beat the qualifier in his first round, Fritz would play the winner of that match. So who knows, to be honest. And then we got Christian Garin, one of the best clay court players. All of his titles have come on clay. He has been, I think, a little bit underrated as well as overrated at the same time. I don't know what you would call that. Maybe just a normal player to look out for. But he's playing one of the wild cards, Fernando Verdasco. And then the winner of that plays Kupfer versus Opelka. That's going to be a good one because I want to see Opelka, his game, just like Isner's, without the big forehand, without the big serve, being neutralized by the surface, how well he's going to do against someone like Kupfer, who grew up on hardcourt essentially when he played at Tulane in college. So that's going to be a fun one to watch. In the last 4 players, we got Davidovich Fokina playing a qualifier who will be playing Medvedev in the second round. Because it's interesting how Davidovich Fokina, the Spaniard, got a qualifier rather than an actual player that was directly entered into the main draw. Not biased, but just how it works. You know how that goes. But after looking at all these names and seeing the type of talent that we have in this tournament, it's really hard to see. If I was to go for favorite, it has to be Rafa, but I would love to see Alcaraz pull off an upset, which would be unbelievable. Everyone will be salivating at that match either way if Alcaraz beats Manarino. Dark horse to watch for. We haven't seen... Aslan has had his moments on clay, and especially with the French last year, the uprise that he's had winning one of the biggest tournaments that he has this year, Doha or Dubai. And then, honestly, Fucsovics could do really well here on clay. If he can beat Bublik and then playing against Dennis on clay, he actually might make the third round easily here. I actually think Fucsovics could win there. Fognini would always be a good one to watch out for. Berrettini really hasn't made that much noise this year. He kind of faded out after his run at the U.S. Open, but nevertheless, how cool would it be to see Verdasco be good again? we all remember that 2009, I believe it was 2009 semifinal against Nadal at the Australian Open. Seeing Verdasco play that well again would be such a treat, especially on clay. With that big forehand of his, that would be a lot of fun to watch. So if I was to say biggest dark horse, it would probably have to be Fucsovics. It's not that big of a dark horse, but for me on clay, it is. Biggest bust for the seeded players, at least, it has to be. Oh, this is a tough one. Is it a guarantee that if we put Felix as the biggest bust, it's kind of cliche at this point? But I would definitely say it would have to be. It actually might be Grigor as the top 15 seed at this tournament. Hurkacz on clay could be interesting to say the least. He actually might lose first round against Millman. Or if he doesn't, Evans goes through. Evans has been on a hot streak, so that Evans would be a good one to watch out for as a dark horse as well. But biggest bust, Hurkacz. I wouldn't say Hurkacz. I would say Dimitrov or maybe Felix. I'm lightly saying Felix. Maybe and Garin might be knocked out by Verdasco in the first round. Who knows at that point? Favorite to win, obviously, Rafael Nadal. Can't go wrong with that answer. Medvedev would be an interesting choice to say the least. Even though he's the 2 seed, he actually might be a dark horse, especially on the surface. But with his windup in his game, he actually might do very well. As well as Tsitsipas to get his second Masters 1000 Tour title on clay. So let me know down in the comments below who you guys think is going to win the tournament. Please don't just say Rafael Nadal like I did. Give me someone interesting. Put someone down in the comments below of who you think is going to win, who the biggest dark horse is, who you think the biggest upset's going to be. So let's just see how it goes. I hope you guys are doing well. If you want to see me make more of these, make sure you leave a big like on this video. It really does help other people in the tennis world see this video on YouTube. So make sure you hit that like button, as well as making sure you subscribe. We're trying to hit 2K by the end of this year, so every sub counts. So I really appreciate it, and I hope all of you are staying safe, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their weekend. Take care, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks, guys.